What is going on, people? I'm down here in Nashville, Sunday morning. I'm here at the Bicentennial Capitol Hill Park, World War II memorials. I'm gonna go through this and then I'm gonna head across the street to Capitol Hill and show you guys that part as well. So all along the wall here they have these quotes. Back up a little bit. And this wall extends all the way down. And it's just quote after quote after quote. Talking about the glaciers. And of course, I'm not going to go through every single one of these. Here's one. Contact between Native Americans and Europeans began in 1540 through 1541 with Hernando de Soto's research for gold and silver that extended into East Tennessee and to the Mississippi River. Juan Pardo led a similar expedition. All right, let's turn in to the actual park. Oh, over here, you got a bunch of names in brick, and I guess that's lined up all the way down there as well. Over here is the amphitheater. Shows that go on over here, of course. Musical shows, maybe theatrical shows. Get a good view for you guys. And then all the way up that hill is Capitol Hill. But I don't believe that anybody's there because the government shut down, right? All right, we're on the big stage now. That's about all that's over here. That just goes out that way. So you'd come out here, face the crowd. What do we got over here? The columns you see here may look like they belong in ancient Greece, but they were part of the original Tennessee State Capitol building during the mid-1800s. When the Capitol was being constructed, many architects wanted to replicate the style of Greece. So that's what these things are here. They're from the old Capitol building. Pretty cool. This is the World War II memorial, part of it. And I'm trying to see what this says over here. This honors Tennesseans who served in World War II for courage and sacrifice around the globe. Get a little closer here. There's Pearl Harbor, Wake Island, Marshall Islands, all around the globe. India, China, just spinning on its axis. Then over here you have these plaques. The defeat of Imperial Japan, September 1945. Victory. Fortitude. Striking the Japanese home islands, May 1944. Should have went in order, but oh well. Valor. Turning the tide in the Pacific, May 1942. I'll just do a countdown. Resolve. Rally to arms in January 1942. This details the attack of Pearl Harbor. Outrage. Remember Pearl Harbor, December 1941, December 7th, 1941, at 7:55 on Sunday morning. It's Sunday now. A date which will live in infamy, in the words of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. I would read all that, but it's a lot to read. And there's the attack on Pearl Harbor. Over here, we got terror. America enters the war against fascism, June 1940. Conviction. These pictures have started to fade a little bit. Miracle of War production, January 1942. Courage. Striking Fortress Europe, June 1943. Triumph. Liberating Europe in June 1944. And it started off with gratitude. The price of victory, May 1945. Got this bench over here dedicated to some brave men. Medal of Honor, Raymond H. Cooley, Dunlap, Tennessee. Medal of Honor, Charles H. Coolidge, Signal Mountain, Tennessee. Medal of Honor, Paul B. Huff, Cleveland, Tennessee. Medal of Honor, Elbert Luther Kinzer, Greenville, Tennessee, who it says here was killed in action. Medal of Honor, Charles L. McGaha, Cosby, Tennessee. Medal of Honor, Vernon McCarty, Wright, Tennessee. And Medal of Honor, John Harlan Willis, Columbia, Tennessee, who was also killed in action. So what we have here is called the Court of Three Stars. That's these ancient Greek looking pillars over here. Let's look in this room here. Oh, we got a piano in there. Oh, I see there's, if you can see, there's bells up in each one of these. I guess they rang at a certain time. Not quite sure. That's the extent of these. Well, there you have it. The Tennessee Bicentennial Capitol Mall coda. And it reads, "This monument sings of Tennessee. There are many of us who labored here, most of us anonymously. Some of us can trace our ancestry in this state for centuries. Some of us were only passing through. We all have labored with our hearts, hands, and minds to bring you the Tennessee and this bicentennial tribute to her. We ask that you assemble here in peaceful diversity. We ask that you look to the Capitol to know and to remember that this government is your government, to challenge and to change for right. We ask that you choose wisely your leaders to act upon the will of the majorities and to protect the rights of the minorities." Interesting. And then I don't want to leave out that all along here you can see from 1996, and it goes all the way down that way, 1986. I suppose every 10 years, 1976, 1966, 56. Again, the wall that extended from all the way down at the beginning. Rain is starting to pick up a little more. Thought this was pretty interesting. During the Great Depression, many migrated from rural areas to cities in search of work, bringing their beloved hillbilly music with them. Some found employment on the Tennessee Valley Authority dams and in other New Deal programs. In West Tennessee, King Cotton began a gradual decline after a century-long reign. Tennessee's first radio station began broadcasting in Memphis in March 1922. In 1922, Moses McKissick was joined in Nashville by his brother Calvin to form McKissick and McKissick. It became the nation's oldest continually operating African-American owned architectural firm. Memphis's commercial appeal won a Pulitzer Prize in 1923 for meritorious public service. Our honored guests shall see today the triumphs of our brain and brawn and the tangible evidence of our activity, and some of them who saw our ruined country 30 years ago will certainly appreciate the fact that we have wrought miracles. This is west. The visual legacy. It's northwest. Vanity Fair. This is north. Participation from across the state. Nashville, Memphis, and Knoxville constructed major buildings. Never uninteresting was Memphis and Shelby County's Pyramid of Cheops. Didn't know there was a pyramid. Northeast, the Negro Building. Then we have east, the Parthenon. This building actually is a museum in another a few miles away from here. I'll be going there soon to check that out. Southeast seesaw view of the exposition. South, the agriculture building. And then southwest, the Tennessee Sentinel and International Exposition. May 1st, 1897, October 31st, 1897. I love this quote. Do not expect us to do all nor half, but put your shoulders to the wheel and do it for yourself. On July 24th, 1866, Tennessee was the first state to be restored to the Union after ratifying the 14th Amendment, which extended citizenship to black freedom. Look it up here. The Ku Klux Klan formed in Pulaski on December 24th, 1865. Lincoln assassinated. Andrew Johnson assumed the presidency the next day, April 15th, 1865. You have been good soldiers. You can be good citizens. Obey the laws, preserve your honor, and the government will be magnanimous. Slaves freed by Tennessee Constitutional Amendment in 1865. Got this plaque here, French Lick Creek. And the name French Lick Creek, the course of which is traced approximately by the Greenway leading east, recognizes the presence of the French traders Charles Charville and Timothy Demon Bruin. They lived here in the 1700s and traded European goods for animal skins with the Cherokees and Shawnees. The Cherokees lived in East Tennessee and Chickasaws lived in West Tennessee. Both tribes hunted in game-rich Middle Tennessee, and in the early 1700s drove out a community of Shawnees who had settled here. And I guess here means right here. All right. This is what I want to see. Play ball, baseball in Civil War Nashville. So in the spring of 1862, Nashville became the first Confederate state capital to fall to Union forces. The Union Army established camps around the state capitol building, including in this area, one of the most historic places in Nashville. It was called French Lick in the 1700s, Sulphur Spring Bottom in the 1800s, and Sulphur Dell in the 1900s. During the Civil War, it served as a recreational field for Union soldiers who introduced the northern version of baseball to local residents as early as 1862. At the time of the war, baseball was a far different game than the one we know today. The ball was softer and and even some infielders played without gloves. A runner was out if struck by a thrown or batted ball, or if a fielder caught the ball in the air or on a bounce. Scores were almost always in the double digits, sometimes more than 60 runs scored. There's a nice picture of Union prisoners of war playing baseball in 1863. Tennessee State Capitol, 1860s, with this site, very site they were standing in the foreground. Very rich history out here. You know, people jog around this place, walk around this place, and I'd say that a lot of people don't even stop to really realize what took place out here, what has happened out here, the rich history of this place. So I'm going to head up to the Capitol and check out what's around there. Come along with me. All right, so we've made it across the street to Capitol Hill. I'll walk up these steps here. Doom, 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 doom. Nice view. Guess that's a Nashville tour bus. I'd rather take my own tour on foot, not pay $50 to ride around in a bus. Oh, look, over here we have some more old Capitol building pillars. Very, very cool, man. Scattered about. The Capitol relics, these carved stones are component parts of the original columns from the Capitol building, carved circa 1850 from limestone quarried nearby. They were removed from the building during restoration work in 1955 because of severe deterioration and were replaced with new work replicating the original design but carved from Indiana limestone. So we got a statue over here. It's called the Equestrian Group, and the sculptor was per year Mims, 1906 to 1905. Looks like, oh, I thought his hands were. How you doing up there, buddy? The TVA Group, same sculptor as the last. Get in the frame there. They kind of look Egyptian. Another family group sculpt here. Again, the thing on her head looks Egyptian, I'm not sure. This lady here feeding her baby. Andrew Jackson statue here. March 15th, 1767. He died June 8th, 1845. 7th President of the United States. See if I can zoom in a little closer here. Here's a better view of the statue, Andrew Jackson. Got this bell over here. It looks like, I guess, a replica of the Liberty Bell. Not quite sure. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Looks like we got some Illuminati over here. I can barely read. The articles in this triangle, it's in some kind of other language. I can't read it. It's Illuminati. That's for sure. We got some people over here meditating. Gotta activate that third eye. Andrew Johnson, 17th president of these here United States of America. There's old Andrew Johnson looking out over the city, protecting the city all these years later. Thank you, Andrew. Let's go up to the Capitol building. Got a tourist group over here. Capitol Hill. Man, they're doing some extensive work on this building, aren't they? I don't think there's much up here. Just kind of walk around a little bit. I don't know if there's anybody here. State Tennessee Capitol. Nobody in there. Let's walk around. Looks like we have another building down this way. I'm not sure what that building is. This is all blocked off over here. Man, this really sits up on a hill. Capitol Hill. Who is the governor of Tennessee? I don't even know. I don't know the mayor of Tennessee. Haven't really ever checked. Haven't looked. All right, so this is really interesting over here. James Knox Polk, president of the U.S., born November 2nd, 1795, died June 15th, 1849. Check it out. The mortal remains of James Knox Polk are resting in this vault beneath. He was born in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, and immigrated with his father, Samuel Polk, to Tennessee in 1806. The beauty of virtue was illustrated in his life. The excellence of Christianity was exemplified in his death. Wow. Very interesting. James Polk, right below where I'm standing. So the Holy Rosary Cathedral, near here in 1820, the first Catholic church in Tennessee, was built by Irish Catholic workers, then building a bridge over Cumberland River. In 1830, a brick structure known as Holy Rosary Cathedral succeeded the frame building. Here, Bishop R.P. Miles, first Bishop of Tennessee, was installed October 15th, 1838. When St. Mary's Cathedral was built in 1847, Holy Rosary Church became St. John's Hospital and Orphanage. The site was sold to the state in 1857. The saints go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. That's the words, right?
No!
Is that a song?
Now when the saints go marching in.
Check out this view from the Capitol on the other side. Pretty nice, huh? All right, let's continue the tour. Got this bell over here. It says blues. And then we got gospel music, bluegrass music, jazz music. Can't forget about that folk music, classical music, rock and roll, and of course, here in Nashville, country music. Get a view of the Capitol building from on this side. All right, guys, well, that is it. Oh, wait a minute. There's another statue. I just spotted another statue right over here. Let's go take a look at that. So here we have a statue of Mr. Sam Davis of Tennessee, born October 6th, 1842, near Murfreesboro, Tennessee, educated at the Western Military Institute at Nashville. Early in the Civil War, he joined the Confederate Army Company 1, I guess that's 1, 1st Tennessee Regiment. In 1863, he was assigned to Shaw's Scouts Chetham's Division. In November 1863, when on duty, uniformed in Confederate butternut and gray, Davis was captured in his native state, then within the federal lines. Important papers descriptive of the federal fortifications and forges were found upon his person. All right. So there's a lot to read between the Bicentennial Park and up here. It's a lot of history, a lot to read. I don't want to bore anybody. I know, if you're watching the video, you don't want to really just see me read a bunch of plaques. I've covered everything. Get one last shot of Capitol Hill. If you've made it this far into the video, I appreciate you watching. It's pretty interesting. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you already knew. There's so much more to read, like I said, and learn about. So, if you're out here, I would check it out for myself. And that'll do it until next time. Again, I appreciate you watching. I'm gonna head out. Take care.